Hi, Center Hill. I just want to share with you some things that are going on. Since we've last met, we've had some fun with the family devotions, and I really do want to apologize for that first week. I wanted to be prepared as to what I was doing, and I wrote down everything, and then when I listened back to it, it sounded like I was doing an audiobook. Which wasn't the intent, and I tried multiple times to knock that off, but I could not get it done. So the joke around our family for a while was whether or not I should take requests from everybody as to what their favorite child's bedtime story was, and perhaps I could help them get to sleep with the soothing sound of my reading. But in reality, this last couple weeks has given us a lot of opportunities. We've been blessed. I've been able to work at home, which has had its own set of challenges of not being used to being at home every day. So I'm taking conference calls and dealing with things while I've got my kids on either side of me doing homeschool. So I'm getting questions from coworkers about what they're hearing as they're overhearing Math 6 and Algebra 2 from either side of me, or Maria's spelling. That was a hit with my one conference call yesterday. But this time has been good for us as a family to be able to share in the blessings that God has given us, whether that be making meals and delivering them to elderly in our community, or sharing meals and supplies with people in the community, and as well as those in our church. It has been a great time for us to be able to share the love that God has given to us. And from the aspect of what God has been teaching us through this, Leanne has been working on a personal study from a book called The Lamb of God by Nancy Guthrie. And in that book, it speaks of Israel's trek through the wilderness. And in that trek, though God's provision was there and He provided them with all that they needed, Israel routinely grumbled, whether it was about the food, whether it was about water. There were things daily, whether their leadership, they complained about their leadership a lot. And at one point, the Israelites would grumble that it would have been better for them to have died in Egypt than to have be brought out into the desert and die. So God did something after that. He sent a serpent, poisonous serpents, which interestingly enough, there was some symbolism there that though they wanted to be in Egypt, God sent one of the symbols of power from the Egyptians, the serpent which was on Pharaoh's headpiece, to torment them. And they were poisonous snakes, and if they were bitten, if they did not look upon the serpent that was carved and put on the stick in the camp with faith, they would perish. So God not only gave them things, but in their grumbling, He sent something. But in that torment that He sent, He also sent the escape. He sent them the instructions to look upon this carved, I believe it was a bronze serpent, on the stick. And if they did that in faith, that they would be saved. And this has reminded me of what we are dealing with now. In many ways, we are dealing with things that we have never dealt with before, being stuck at home and doing things of that nature. And throughout the course of the day, we are finding things that aren't quite going the way we had planned, or we would like to be doing other things, and it leads us to grumble. But much like the Israelites, we are sitting under God's provision. God has given us many blessings. He has given us food. He has given us shelter. He has given us safety. So my encouragement to you is, although these times where we are separated and isolated are very difficult, and it may lead us to grumble about things that we are not used to, they are not outside of God's control, and they are not outside of God's provision. And we need to be encouraged that we worship and are children of a God who is in control of all things, who knows how this is going to end, and who is providing us everything we need in the midst. So If you're down and you're not, you're having struggles about this new stay-at-home order or any of the things that are going on in the interim, just remember that we serve a good and gracious God, a loving God who is there providing us all we will need, and He is going to see us through. Hopefully, this will all be over soon, and we will be able to return to see each other once again at the church. Until then, I will talk to you later. Bye.